Hey, thanks again for watching Weekly Word. I hope you'll stay with us to the very end, as we've got a song at the end that I hope will stay with you through the week and encourage you. You know, there are times in our lives that we need to be silent, that we need to be quiet for a while. We live in a world that is so very noisy. Phones going off, dinging sounds, alarm sounds, music, TV, all kinds of things. There is just noise everywhere. It's important in our spiritual lives that we get away sometimes and that we're quiet, that we just listen to God. You know, it's interesting to me that when you look at the rhythm and the patterns of the life of the Lord Jesus was often doing that. He would get up early in the morning and he would go to a solitary place. When something bad happened, he would go off, be alone for a while, spend time in quietness and silence with God the Father. Matthew tells us a story about where Jesus finds out that his cousin, the forerunner of him, a guy by the name of John the Baptist, had been beheaded, a cruel death. And when Jesus hears that, he decides to go off to a quiet place to be by himself. Interestingly, though, Jesus was so well known at this time and people were watching him so closely that the next story is the feeding of the 5,000. The people found out where he was and they followed him there. But Jesus ministered to them. But as soon as that was over, you know what he did? He went off to a quiet place. What I find interesting is that the Lord Jesus, the Son of the living God, the creator of the universe, needed in his life to pull away and find a quiet place to pray and a quiet place to think. Why in the world would I, as a mere man, not think that I need that in my life as well? A famous philosopher said that all of man's miseries can be summed up in his inability to sit alone quietly by himself in his own thoughts. When we sit alone, when we're quiet, things begin to settle down. It's like going and getting a jar full of water out of a lake or out of a pond, and it looks kind of cloudy, but just let it sit there a while. Just wait, come back in an hour or so, and watch how all the sediment and all the stuff at the top begins to go down, and the top begins to clear, and you can see clearly through the water. That's exactly what happens in our souls when we're quiet before God. All the junk and the noise and the stress and the strain of life begins to settle down, and we begin to see clearly. We begin to see clearly what God has for us, what God is saying to us, and why we can trust Him in every area of our lives. Maybe today you find yourself stressed out. Maybe today you find yourself just so tired of listening to everything. Maybe the best thing you could do is just find a spot somewhere and just be quiet, alone, just you and God, and see if God doesn't speak. Minister to your soul. Jesus did it often, all through the Gospels. We need to do it as well. May God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. Been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. have led me through the fire and darkest nights. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I'll give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.